Hi, everybody. It's Peter Gianetti of Homeworld Business and Gourmet Insider. And I'm here today with Cindy Morris, the president and CEO of Dallas Market Center, and Janice Johnson, the founder and president of GC Buying Group. The GC Buying Group will hold its start of the year conference and vendor showcase during the Dallas Total Home and Gift Market in January. And that market is scheduled for January 6th through 12th at the Dallas Market Center. Congratulations on the news. Janice, I'll start with you. Tell me kind of how we got here. Why the move to the Dallas Home and Gift Market for the start of the year event?
Well, first, GC will be celebrating our 40th anniversary in 2021. And with the pandemic having wrecked 2020, we think it's fitting for GC to come home to celebrate our big milestone. GC hosted our first Start the Year member conference in Dallas in 2004, and then we were back here in 2008. We have a good working relationship with the DMC team, and as a Dallas-based company, logistically, Dallas makes very good sense for us to host an event in this time of COVID particularly. The entire GC team has been involved in the decision making, and the DMC has definitely made us feel welcome, and they are pulling out all the stops to make the venue change seamless and uncomplicated.
Beyond the pandemic, Janet, and some of those considerations, the fact that you're a Dallas business and this is close to home, what other advantages do you see in having the start of the year conference in Dallas in 2021?
I think with Dallas being our home, and we like this market center and we like a lot of things about it, that we feel like it's something that will resonate with our stores and with our vendors. So we've been talking about this, Peter, for the last few years, and it just seemed like, all the planets aligned and the timing was right.
How has Dallas demonstrated that it's ready to host this event and do it in a safe way for you?
Well, the GC team went over to the Dallas market one day during the market last month, and we were impressed by the things that they are doing. Certainly the sanitizing, the mask wearing requirement, the social distancing, plus we feel like Dallas is pretty much set up to put space between people when they're when they're attending in general.
Yeah, Cindy, I know you've talked about the configuration of the market center and the buildings has lent itself to be somewhat more advantageous when it comes to creating the protocols and creating a socially distanced, manageable environment. Is that right?
Absolutely, Peter. We just wrapped up the gift and home market, and we checked over 32,000 temperatures. And so, we're checking temperatures when people come in. We're mandating masks. We're social distancing, and it's such a convenient facility for people to shop. We have the multiple sets of escalators, the wide corridors, and so many people have come up to me and they said, we feel safe here. I mean, we feel safer here than going to the grocery store.
Having the GC event in Dallas, talk about how that is yet another step in DMC in your effort to really showcase how important gourmet housewares is to your mix.
We're absolutely thrilled to be working with GC. And as Janice said, we're both Dallas-based companies. We're both family-owned companies. And so, we're excited to have them here. And when we look at the business and we look at the fact that, we really are the only true lifestyle market in America, and we can bring the retailers more products across multiple categories. We're just so excited to be able to work closely with Janice and her team. We've got great space for them to set up an office, their meeting rooms. We've got space for a vendor showcase and a lot of flexibility.
Janice, what has been the reaction so far to your retailers and your vendors with regard to this move?
I have personally informed the GC advisory board. We are so lucky to have such a strong market savvy group of retailers that we work with closely on almost a daily basis. And the reasoning behind our move, they understand the benefits and the things that we're talking about for Dallas. Taking that need for travel, that pressure point out from our Dallas GC team really makes a lot of difference, and it allows us to focus completely on our guests, who are our stores and our vendors. Plus, we're also excited about the fact that there is newness in Dallas. This is an easy to navigate market. We find it very easy to get around. We know the campus, and we feel like our stores, even if they haven't been here, they'll have an easy time of doing that sort of thing as well. We love the fact that Dallas is centrally located, so it gives easy access to people all over the country.
Do you expect to have maybe a virtual component that coincides with the in-person component?
You know, we may possibly weave a virtual aspect into our event. You know, we had a virtual summer series this summer that was really very well received by our stores and our vendors. And, you know, having the virtual is helpful in another way, just the recorded sessions, because then you can use it. It's has greater access. You can let the stores go back and refresh on some of the things that they learned. So I think virtual is really here to stay, and I think we've learned so much about it over the last several months.
This partnership is being presented as a long-term initiative. So I've got a couple of questions related to that. First up, what are plans for summer school? Have you figured that out for next year yet? And long-term, what does that mean? Can you get into more detail in terms of how long the commitment is, or what your expectations are for this? I'll start with you, Janice, on that.
Well, you know, we're really taking baby steps at first. We don't know what's going to happen. Retail has changed, as we all know. And as it relates to the U.S., local communities are an overwhelmingly important element in the rebuilding of this country. We've had so many issues to deal with, not only the pandemic, but we've had sensitive issues and natural disasters with hurricanes and wildfires, and we're fully prepared to focus on rebuilding retail, because I know that's going to be a big part of what we do. The summer plans will come after start the year, and you know, of course, the team's already talking about it, so we're formulating our plan, and we're going to be following very closely comments and experiences at the January event to just see how we can create something that makes a lot of sense for the summer.
Maybe you can provide some details about where the conference will be held and some of the space that you're going to be able to use for the GC conference.
Sure. I mean, the office space is going to be on the second floor of the Trade Mart, and then we have a lot of adjacent space to that they can use. But, you know, as you look at the different programs that they've done and the opportunities, I think there's so much that we can do together and learn from each other. You know, and as a perfect example, I mean, we've just hosted temporaries. You know, we've done 3 back-to-back shows, and we've hosted temporaries, and we've socially distanced them, and we've done it successfully. And so there's ways that as we work together, I think through the pandemic, we can certainly help, and we can you know, do the same thing again.
The importance of the independent retailer in this whole equation right now, and why having marketplaces and aligning yourself with other organizations that can help bring these communities together. Talk to some degree about why this is so important to that channel of distribution.
It's absolutely critical that we work together with independent retail stores. When you go to small towns in America, I mean, they're the lifeblood of those small towns. And so for us to be able to work together, as I said earlier, with a group like Janice, I mean, it's so exciting, but we feel as though, you know, it's up to us to help bring them new product, bring them new experiences, you know, help educate them, you know, help them succeed and thrive. And they're just, you know, they were so creative during this pandemic and what they did and how they continued to build their business. And whether, you know, it was through curbside delivery or social media events, you know, whatever. I mean, they survived, and now, I mean, they are here and they are eager and they're willing to grow their business. And so, you know, that's really, you know, that's who we serve primarily. I mean, that's our biggest, you know, group of buyers that come here.
Yes, Janice, you're at the front lines of this, and the independent retailer is at the core as well too. You've experienced firsthand kind of how it's evolved the last several months. You've seen both the challenges, but I think you've also seen the opportunities in a category that has seen robust sales during the pandemic. Why does this reinforce the need to find ways to keep this community together and face to face?
Well, you know, Peter, kitchenware stores and local communities make up our membership. So that's our 100% focus. Uh, we feel like keeping retail strong in small communities is one of the most important things that we can do. And when it comes to a market center, market centers are really for small independent retailers. We know that the dog and pony show goes to the big guys, so it's not so important for them to be able to come in and look at things. But with small stores, it's the total experience. It's the way for them to get revitalized, and we love that interaction between the showrooms, the stores, networking with each other. And, you know, I just can't say enough about how important I think it is for the stores to stay strong together.